Hello to the lot here, and I welcome all of you back to another raging video where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, what's to pick height here? Actually, you know what? If I'm going to have to do this at all, I'm going to have to know and get myself properly ready, because if you haven't caught on, ladies and gentlemen, it is St. Patrick's Day special brawl episode. We all know what that's supposed to be like, ladies and gentlemen. When you leave the pub on a Friday or a Saturday night, it's not exactly, uncommon enough to see many people get into a brawl. Men, women, children, priests, bishops. Sometimes even pubs will even get up 10 miles down the road and they'll come down and have a scrap and have a diggy and a paddy and all that. But to do this, I got to actually get something a bit more impressive for you. So I'll be right back to you, slut. No, it's no use. Star's falling apart. Now, I apologise for that, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to find my famous hat. Big green one it was, like the leprechauns used to wear. So, the reason why we're doing this all today, ladies and gentlemen, is not just because it is our St. Patrick's Day special event, but it's also because it's my old ma's 60th birthday. And I thought it'd be pretty nice, and all things considered, just to do something for her. And of course, we can't really talk so much about the Irish as to first talk about their esteemed national anthem, which brings out some very interesting difficulties for me, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not really clear exactly what the actual... Yes, it is pretty clear as to what the actual national anthem for Ireland actually is, for the Republic, I should say. The problem we face, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's one I am very particular with. It's called A Soldier's Song, which I believe was actually used for... Do you like the way I just saw a slip in and out of doing my normal voice to then doing my very thick Irish accent? You wouldn't even be able to tell you. But believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually a 7th generation English myself. But that means actually I have family who come from Scotland and I come from Ireland. Technically, it's come from County Tyrone before, the British took it, the dirty bastards. So, for all things being equal, ladies and gentlemen, that is sort of why I'm going out of my way to do the accent. I'm actually think I'm quite good at doing the accent, to be honest. I've never really been good at doing accents before, apparently. So, we may as well stick with something that I'm actually good at. So, amid all this confusion, we're actually going to take to one that's called Amahan na Biafan. I'm going to just do a double check just to make sure what that's actually translates to. I have a suspicion that it is the translation of A Soldier's Song in Gaelic, but I just absolutely want to make sure, because to be honest, there's quite a lot of things from Ireland that, to be honest, I wanted to check out anyway, because to be honest, there are a lot of iterations, I believe, of the national anthem. Oh, it is called The Soldier's Song. Originally recorded in, 1926? And it was even first orchestrated by a man called Patrick Heaney. That's pretty impressive, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't mind me, I think it's time we got straight into it. So, if you guys want to listen to the original video for yourselves, the links will all be in the description down below. So let's begin. Yeah, big Egypt. A Soldier's Song in 3, 2, 1, and... Oh. And I will actually, the first thing I want to do is, first of all, yes, turn it up. I also do, for some very bizarre reason, like the fact that also they're doing it in traditional Gaelic, because the English translation is very, very beautiful. You must understand, but in the terrestrial of the times and the fashions, we will just do them in their native language, like we did for La Marseillaise. Him as a republic, whatever Greek's national anthem was, it was something like that. Democracy is a hymn or something like that. And we'll continue this tradition as it stands. So let us continue. Over Argent Shaw Crow,
Taj som spergongin rel pogak Fish fun were fabrak shin hun gla Scutchin war gleir of chiak don la Fakun yar cave na he bar so shall of canioran of bay Shan the lion got foul and the water gola beyond the soul and tender on the bone fade with the sea shan sheer fast the aqua sheer and Savar will they gander Gilhun wash no sail the Gunnash Greg will allow to be there shall of Kani or on the way Kush Pantare Arardis Nev Baho Harshen Shirowen Eglawa Putrim Van Sabra Shem Taho Sahego Shota Baho was Rio Dargan Nahi Ganum Bush.
I think right there, ladies and gentlemen, that just about sums up the entire national anthem right there. And even a lot of the Irish character, they are a fighting race. And I will absolutely testify largely to that extent because there is something deep inside the heart of every Irishman. It is not only in a sense of keeping up appearances, like being friendly, and you see a local priest saying "Good morning to your father," or "Good morning, Grace," or "Good morning, sister," or something like that. But then deep down, there is something very, very there is something extraordinarily ordinary about and friendly about the Irish. And it is not just like that stereotypical, the Irish are incredibly friendly amid years and decades of savage fighting, mostly against, well, it is almost always against the English, let's be honest. And deep down, they just want to get on like the rest of the world. You know what, they've never had to, I don't really necessarily know too, deep in terms of, Irish, history and law. If it was anything to do about if there's been any kings and queens of Ireland, I really couldn't say for any rubber extent. I know there must have probably been at some point because the flag, for example, it's not just because it resembles the French flag, for example, in terms of the color scheme. But the interesting thing about the color scheme of the French flag is it's meant to be liberty, fraternity, frugality. So I'd like to imagine that in some way, obviously white is meant to represent liberty. But I suppose as well, the green is meant to represent obviously the green pastures from, it can be as far north as say County Tyrone all the way down to Cork, Donegal or Dublin or anywhere like that. But also, I don't really necessarily know what the orange is really meant to represent. Maybe I've had to guess. Maybe it's just something to do with the east of the east part of Ireland. I generally could not actually put my finger on it, so to speak. But I will say actually, it's been nearly 11. It actually has been 11 years since I've actually last been to Ireland. But because of all because of how badly I kind of want to go back again, I wouldn't even know where I'm meant to begin. Probably a place I've actually been to and a place I would actually love to go back again is this beautiful little coastal town called Kinsale. It's and I remember going when I was about 10 years. I'll get back to the song in a second, but I loved the atmosphere, the townliness of everything. Everything was so clear and clean, and we went during basically the beginning of June, so it was all very summery weather. And I even remember all of the I don't know if they were landladies or just ladies, daughters of the owners of the pubs, but they would always stand outside and they would always just look back and forth up and down the street all day long. Probably they're just either looking for someone or they were just out there enjoying the fresh air. That's one thing I will absolutely say about the Irish right now from my personal experience. I don't think I can actually ever recall probably maybe a cleaner country in Europe. I've never really seen like a desolate or a filthy or even a dirty real pub. I would actually have to really, really scrape my memories right here, ladies and gentlemen, to actually tell you if there was like any litter at all. There probably was in some places, but to be honest, it's not the sort of thing that really springs to mind because, to be honest, I never really thought about it because either it was so just inside or it probably wasn't even there. But yeah, Kinsale of all places would be sort of quite high on my lists of places to go back to if I went back to Ireland. But I know fine well, aside from Donegal and Cork and even as far as like on the border of like with County Tyrone, there are bound to be a lot of others like County Down, and I don't even remember really if I've ever like been around this part of Ireland. But I know there's got to be someone there. I can feel it in my bones.
Shiro emir shar shol marid iganya not shalaf kanyi oran of ving shandale grafoil ataf we all again when there's no our tender on equal Sir Shanshir Fasta Niakur Funshir Anna Control Anaka himself Arnawell Legamnar Gilhun Wash no sin Lagun Ashrig Wilawak no Biler Shalapani or
And when I was saying a soldier song, ladies and gentlemen, and soldiers are we. Now, as I said before, ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly the sort of thing I absolutely will love and continue to sing praise the Irish for. Because outside of many, many things about the Irish, apart from their friendliness, their plain-spokenness, their joyfulness, the warm welcomeness of the Irish, it is not really the sort of thing you just really can just bring yourself to forget. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, deep down, as my dad always says, I'm a Fenian. I am an Irish deep down in my bones. And for curiously, and maybe that's why I have such, aside from, because I used to go to, my family would take me and my family to Ireland a lot during my childhood. It was like once a year we would always go. And I must say right now, it's still one of those places, probably maybe more than, and I've been to many, many countries over the years, ladies and gentlemen, I will say now. I've been to Cuba, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Turkey, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Scotland, I've even been to Northern Ireland, and I've also been to France and Spain, and even Italy. But by no means, ladies and gentlemen, can I actually bring it home to you how much at home I feel in Ireland. That's the absolute truth, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? You can bring RTE News right down here right now, and they'll probably get me on quote saying that, ladies and gentlemen. And I think, to be honest, there are so many people around here right now who probably, you know what it's like when you know fine well what you can call a place home. Home is where your heart is, ladies and gentlemen. And oh god, I want to fucking go back to Kinsale so badly. I hope, honest to God, I hope it's still the same sort of place as what I remembered it in my childhood, or even just stay in Dublin maybe for a few days. I want to fucking. It feels like one of those occasions where I want to say to like the camera that I want a baby, but more than that, I want to go back to Ireland. That is what I want to do. I want to mingle with people in Irish pubs. I want to drink Guinness. I want to dual wield. I want to hold 2 tankards of Guinness and drink it down. And the bar people saying, "Are you sure you'll be able to drink that out of the sun? You don't exactly look like a beer drinker to me." I can actually do different variations of the Irish accent. You wouldn't even believe that, would you? Also, it has to be said, some of my favorite, like, I remember reading this book. Well, I've actually got the audio book of it. It was a book called Milkman. It was written by... Let me just do a double check, because I don't think the woman in question who wrote it was Irish, but it's pretty obvious through like the hints that it's obviously meant to be set in Ireland during like the early 70s to late 80s, when, for those who know, when Ireland was going through a lot of conflicts with the British, culminating in the famous Cranberry song Zombie. And you better believe it, ladies and gentlemen, as we slip back into our Irish accent once again, I've got more personality splits than the actual split. Let me see if I can find it up for you. Because there's a lot of things like James Joyce. Right, hang on. James Joyce wasn't Irish, was he? I think it was, anyway. But more than that, some of my absolute favourite writers, like in terms of like comedy, have all come from Ireland. Because curiously enough, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same sentimentality right there. Let me see. Because I can tell you the book itself was called Milkman. And speaking of Milkman, Anna Bones. There we go. I wanted to mention like things for like Anna Bones for 1 second, because I first came in here of like that of her when she was on front row, because her book Milkman a couple of years ago had been shortlisted for some very prestigious bullet. I don't think it was like a Booker's award or something like that, but it's a very substantial read, because they don't list characters' names. Everyone's just referred to as main character, milkman, maybe boyfriend, second youngest sister, or something like that, chef, and neighbor from across the road or over the water. And there's a lot of references to things like the British and that, but they don't really like mention a lot of names. It's a very interesting little read if you ever do get the chance. But also, Father Ted, ladies and gentlemen. I still hold to my day, ladies and gentlemen, that it is still the single greatest sitcom ever made. I think it's better than Seinfeld. I think it's better than Friends. I think it's better than Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it's even funnier than Big Bang Theory and How I Met Your Mother. Because there's absolutely been nothing like it before, and there's absolutely been nothing like it ever since. And Gray Linehan and Arthur Matthews, the finest pair of comedy writers ever since the Monty Python team. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, just to reiterate for this point forward, just to give you guys something to understand where I'm coming from throughout this celebration, is that we sometimes think of St. Patrick's Day as being synonymous with drinking, being synonymous with the rowdiness of the Irish, but it's all the other things as well. When you put your glass down for a second, do you really come to like really understand sort of one of the key things that this great European country of only roughly about 6 to 7 million people at its population really begin to hold? It's warm-heartedness, it's gentleness, almost very much like the Scottish. However, there's just something about it, ladies and gentlemen. It makes you feel at home. That's how I would come about it, ladies and gentlemen. You really do feel at home with people like these. And it's the sort of sentimentality you're going to see quite a lot of throughout today's set of videos. So make yourselves very much at home, ladies and gentlemen. My home is your home too. Because your home is where your heart is. And with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed the Soldier Song, which is, of course, the Republic of Ireland's national anthem. Please make sure to leave all your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. And I'll be seeing all of you guys again for more videos based straight out of the Republic of Ireland. Take care, and bye-bye for now, you little Fenian feckin' Egypts, yeah.